Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Cheltenham Festival Day 4, 2024. That is Friday the 15th of March. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you're all very, very well. We've reached the last day. We still have our shirt, just about. Thursday was a better day, albeit couldn't quite capitalise on the plethora of winners that I managed to find on Thursday. So from a singles point of view, we did well, but couldn't hit anything decent in a combination. So we will go to the review of that shortly. We arrive on the last day with round about 60% of the money we've placed back. So in order for us to come out successful, the task ahead of us on Friday is to more than double our money. There is £40 laid out in the Cheltenham staking plan. We've already laid out 117 in Cheltenham's name. So it means we'll end the week 157 on for Cheltenham. So 157 will be laid down through the channel. We have back already 70 quid. So in order, you do the maths on that. We need 87. I think it's 87 quid. That is the target for Friday. It seems a pretty tall order, but I've been working on it. I've been working on it quite a long time, which is why this video, again, is much later than I thought it was going to be and said it was going to be. Just kept going back through various replays, looking in the archives. To kind of chopping and changing a bit here and there, and for the Friday plan. With Friday's plan, what I would say is it's a tricky day for the reason. I mean, they're all tricky days, aren't they? Tricky day in the sense of I'm not going to get massively involved in the Triumph Hurdle or the Fox Hunters, so that rules 2 races out. I'm not massively going to get involved in the Gold Cup. And so that sort of takes out an element of it. Then bits in the Albert Bartlett and bits in the Mare's Chase, which basically means I'm going big on the 2 hurdles, trying to solve the puzzle. So the aim of the game is, can I find the winner of the County Hurdle and the Martin Pipe, put them together, boom, there's our 87 quid. That's the challenge ahead of me. We've had 7 handicaps this week. I managed to find the winner of 2. We've had a couple of places along the way. So if we'd done all the selections on the nose in the handicaps, we would actually be ahead from what I've picked out. It's going to be a tall order, folks. It's not looking like it's gonna end my way, but we do need a big hurrah. So this is what I'm doing. These are my staking plans. It's entirely up to you what you do, right? So. Everybody does their own thing, okay? Some people are convinced that the Tuesday and Wednesday of Cheltenham, where there's lots of shorties going in and favourites everywhere, they're convinced that's what happens every single year. I would beg to differ. I would beg for you to differ and go and have a look at the history of the Cheltenham Festival and tell me which other Cheltenham Festival did their, across the first 3 days, only have 2 winners at a double figure price. Which other Cheltenham Festival has had 2 double price figure winners over the first 3 days? I think you'll find the answer is it doesn't really happen like that usually. So there's normally a bit more to be had. It was slim pickings for value on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Shorties won out. It was a mixed bag on Thursday. So there was a 25-1 winner. I could do that in the review. I wasn't anywhere near that specific horse. So let's spin through the review and then we'll get to the bets. Oh, and the other thing to flag is, again, it's up to you what you do with my bets, right? Lots of people did some very clever stuff with the 6-fold ACCA on Thursday and made themselves a nice profit. So well done to them. You interpret it or do it how you want. What I will say is this £40 on Cheltenham, I have got an extra bonus bet as well. So the channel is putting down an additional £8 non-Cheltenham in a Yankee. So I've got 4 horses. One, the first race at Fakenham. Oh, how exciting. Not be the race that most people will be looking at, but the first race at Fakenham, I've got a horse in there, and then I've got a horse at Newcastle and 2 at Dundalk on the evening all weather. That's an additional £8. If you want to do that, you do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you want to see if we have a good day at Cheltenham and then maybe do the 3 ones after that, you make choices. All right, here's the review. So day 3. The only win bet I had for the whole staking plan, Grey Dawning, I was very sweet on that in the Turners, and ran a great race for the Skeltons. So other than Langadang, I've been on the right Skelton horses so far this week, and avoided some of the ones like Lamilos that was a bit of a flopper on Thursday. But Grey Dawning, great winner, 5-2, so £7 back in the bank for that first race. Then we went to the Pertemps. That was hard work. I wouldn't have had the winner. There's some of the placed ones I definitely were on my shortlist, but not made the top 4 on my channel selections. But basically what happened is those 3 were part of a big group that went off too fast, and they either pulled up or finished way down. It was only Gal Road who was held up a bit, but was well backed in before the off. Both the Twiston Davis horses that came, well, they're both framed, both are well backed before the off. In the morning, Thursday morning, that drifted to 40s in places. If you got 40s, brilliant. For the channel, 16 was the SP, so that's all I could record it as, 16-1. So a place back on that one, that was all it was. Then the Ryanair, I got the right 3 in the frame there. Envoy Allen was is in the shorties bet, and then Conflated was 3rd. Protectorat, great winner. 17-2 was the SP on that one. So if you got better than the SP, well done to you. So we had a win and a place in the Ryanair, which is very nice. Then we went to the Stayers. Flora Importer did run a nice race, and Tiupu was just a bit too good. So second for Flora Importer. Paisley Park, that was the retirement swan song down the field, so no good there. But again, we got money back on every single race there. And then we got to the plate. Shake 'em up, Harry got backed in and drifted a little bit out to 8. Backed in on the course, drifted on the exchanges, but basically any horse that owns Harry Redknapp owns generally does get backed up on the course. So it doesn't surprise me the exchanges drifted, and it was 8 on the course. So 8-1 was the SP winner there. Real shame about Rianne. I thought that looked like it was just getting going when that one came a cropper, and then Ferrero Bamboo ended up 6th. Thought it might get there, finished 6th. If you Sky bet, they'd have paid out for that. I don't think any other bookie paid out for it, so it's not counted for the returns on here. Mares Novice Hurdle, we didn't have anything, and then we completed the set with some level of return in all 6 races. We had singles in. Am I Right non-runner Daily Present managed to end up getting 5th in there, but well backed, 11-2, so more than half the price it was at the time I made the video. So good result in singles. It was a nice profit on the singles. Didn't translate to everything. So each way ACCA, we went win. 4 winners on the each way ACCA. And 2 dots. So we haven't been close on the first 2 days. So nice to get closer, and that's where some people made some clever stuff. So yeah, to have four winners on the day out of the 6 in there is very nice indeed. It was pretty similar. It was 2 years ago on the same day, the Thursday, where on the channel we managed to get 4 winners and a non-runner going on to the last leg, which was worth 7 or 8 grand, I seem to recall. The last leg completely flopped, so the people that cashed out did well. But it was almost lightning strikes in terms of wins. The second was that. So yeah, in 2022 and 2024 on the Thursday with an each way ACCA, managed to pull off 4 winners. Don't get any return for that. So if I'm here next year on YouTube, 2025 on the Thursday, that's what you might want to look for. And then the obvious Trixie went down. Tiupu was the only one that won, and then the win combination, Grey Dawning, and there's definitely a part of me that thinks, could I have put Protectorat in there? Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference, because actually the 2 shorties in the novice hurdle got turned over. That was the only interest I had for the channel on that. I wouldn't have picked the winner of that one. That wouldn't have been my sort. And yeah, the two sort of fancied Irish runners got turned over, so nothing back there. And that would have, a bit like El Fablio the day before, that would have made a few people's bets come a crop of the fact that both those Irish horses got turned over. We had Galrow Road at 16s, Shake 'em Up Harry, so we got a place double. If you were Sky Bet, you had 2 place doubles, so you'd have done all right. And each way Trixie Dot place Dot, so just one leg up on that. And then we had Dot Winner Faller place on that one, so we got a little bit back on that. And that is it. So we had 42 outlay on. For SP returns, it was 39.44. I'd like to believe the vast majority of people, if you've got best price guaranteed, or you took better prices, would have come out with a small profit on there. So for Cheltenham, specifically for Cheltenham for this week, we're 117 on, 69.92 back, so we're £47.08 back. To be honest, it's that first day, losing 31 quid on the first day was really, really painful. And yeah, day 2 we only lost 13 quid, day 3 256. So yeah, it's given us a proper sheer face to get ourselves up on Friday. It's been done. It's been done. So yeah, what day 3 of Cheltenham 2 years ago on the channel, we did come back with a way more than 50% return, more than 100% return. So that's what we need to do again. Otherwise, it will kind of go down as a loss for the channel and for me for Cheltenham. All right. Let's go through the plan then for. The other thing I haven't mentioned about Tips League. I have forgotten about Tips League, so I'm not going to go into that now because if you're here for Cheltenham, then you don't want to know about that. But what I'll do is I'll update. The Tips League on the next video for Saturday's video. So I'm not mentioning that. All right. Okay. Starting here in the Triumph. There's two hurdles today, the Triumph and the Albert Bartlett, where Mullins has got just a ton of horses and you're trying to go through that minefield. So all I'm doing on the Triumph in terms of singles, and they're not in any multiples other than the each way 6-fold you'll see, I'm just doing 2 singles. Of the Mullins horses, Bunting's the one I wanted to keep on side. Sean O'Keefe's only had a few rides this week, but he's apart from the faller, he's I would say overachieved on all his rides. He's riding well, and Mullins is sort of generally stuck to the jockeys that have ridden the horses in previous races. So yeah, I think with Bunting, it definitely looks to me like it's one that's going to sort of just keep improving, and I think it might be one that might like going up the Cheltenham Hill. So of all the Mullins horses, that's the one I'm gonna have a little squeak on, 75p each way. And then Mighty Bandit, I felt like I couldn't leave it out, to be honest, because its form for previous connections before it was sold on its first run was that was a cracking performance. If it can get back to that sort of level, then it's got a chance. We'll see what Warren Greatrix can do with the horse. But yeah, I'm just wanted to have a little interest on it because I think it's got the potential to be it's certainly much better than the flop it ran last time, but it just depends on what Warren's been able to do with it. So they're both 75p each way singles. The plan for the county is these 4. They are my only 4. Yeah, I mean, there's a few races where I've spent a lot of time going back and back and back and back. So here is what I've come up with. My number 1 pick for the county hurdle is Bialystok. So there was a race, a handicap race, I think it was Leopardstown, yeah, it should be Leopardstown, where there's a bunch of horses who are all reopposing in this race, and quite a lot of them finished in the sort of the top 6-7 places in the race. And roughly speaking, they've got about an extra £5 gone up with the handicapper, they've gone up for that race. Bialystok was running a nice race and got brought down, I think it was the second last fence. It hasn't been put up the £5. So my thinking here is, if that horse had carried on and not gone at the second fence and finished in and around those other horses, their fact that horse is £5 better off than the other horses, I think gives it a nice little toe in here, because the horses in and around it are up £5 and most of them are shorter odds. So I would, if they were all flat odds, I would take Bialystok. The fact Bialystok's a bit bigger than the others, and Danny Mullins hasn't ridden a winner this week. I think he might get one on Friday, I'm happy for that one to be my number one pick, Bialystok. Then we're going to go with a couple that have got previous in the race. Petit Tonnerre was 7th last year, a couple of pounds lower this year. And yeah, I think it's been laid out ready for a repeat performance to try and get a bit closer. So I wanted that in. Favois, Skelton horse, was on it last year when it won at 33s. It only ran a week ago in the Imperial Cup, which is a bit of a tight turnaround, and that would be a little bit of a niggle for me. If it wasn't for that, then I would be stronger on it, but I wanted to keep it in the 4. And then Hansard, Gary Moore horse. He's only had one runner at Cheltenham. He's got a bunch lined up to run on Friday. And yeah, looking through it, it's a really competitively handicapped horse. And I think, he's, in terms of putting horses in handicaps, it's the only one he's got in. And in terms of he hasn't had another horse in a handicap race at Cheltenham this week. I think it's handicapped to run well, and it will get overlooked because some people will think it's a bit more exposed than some of the Irish horses. So I think you're getting a bit of value in there. So I've kind of got 4 kind of differing angles in some regard in there. Then Albert Bartlett. I mean, this is the one. This is the one Thursday night. I've gone back through. I've spent a lot more time than I previously done looking at the Albert Bartlett. I find it a difficult race usually, so what I'm trying is I'm looking at it in a different way to how I usually do. I don't have a brilliant record in Albert Bartlett. It's a big field. You've got a lot of horses that are unexposed. Some of them are stepping up into 3 miles for the first time. The history of the race is you get some decent prices in the frame. So what I've gone through is, again, you've got lots and lots of Mullins horses. My number one pick is a Mullins horse, High Class Hero. I can't walk past the fact it's got these little row of 111s, right? He does this sometimes. He wouldn't necessarily look like it's the favoured horse on jockey bookings, and maybe he doesn't even know. But reading Tommy wrong that his favourite for this race is a good example that when that won, it was the outsider of the race in the, what was it? Was it the Lawlers of Naas? Was that what it was? Might be that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the Lawlers of Naas. And there's quite a few of those horses reopposing in there. He went in as the rank outsider with a series of 111s on. And High Class Hero, just looks like it's progressing. It hasn't beaten loads, and I think that's why. But yeah, I wanted to keep that one in, and that definitely is my number one pick. I think the thing is, I think reading Tommy wrong could well win the race, but it's too short. I'm really not a fan of Gidley Park, so if that wins, then fair enough. But that one would be really far down my list. I just don't like it. I don't see why it's second favourite for the race. Dancing City is the third favourite, so I'm making this video. Probably got the single best piece of form. It's just whether that form stacks up because it was a funny race. So, yeah, I'm looking around at the prices. So I'm going the next one is the Jukebox Man. There's a few of them that ran in the Challow Hurdle at Newbury that are reopposing, upped in distance. And of those, Jukebox Man is the one that's just nudged it. It is another Harry Redknapp horse, so I do wonder about on the day whether it's going to get backed in a bit. But I think it's got potential in there. And then originally I'd overlooked this horse, and I've gone back through it, right? So if you're one of these people that just picks horses on ratings, you would walk past that horse. On ratings, there's nothing in there for it to stand out. But it is stepping up in distance, and I think it'll really appreciate the step up in distance. If you look at the history of the race, most winners and most kind of top 1, 2, 3 type horses in this race usually, not always, but usually come from the point-to-point sphere. So some horses will start off in bumpers and work their way up to the distance. Some will go to point-to-point, which is usually over 3 miles, and then drop into novice lower distance and come back up again. And what I like from a profile point of view is when you've got a horse that's running 1 point to point and won, and then it's been sold on. And is an interesting way of reading the race. There's quite a few this year. It's not always the case, but there's more than usual this year that have kind of followed that pattern. So all of these three were point to point horses. I've not gone with. I mean, I looked at a few that I think are interesting, like Lecky Watson. Lecky Watson's one that's come up from the bumper route upwards. So yeah, Butcher Hollow. If you actually, you want to go on like point to point form, his point to point win was really, really good. And although from a ratings point of view it's not done loads, it's been close enough in terms of finishing positions in all the races, and I just think it will really appreciate the 3 miles. And it's one of those ones where it's a really small yard, and I just don't believe they would send it over just for a day out. I don't see that. And you could argue that horse that you could save it and put it into a decent handicap, because it could be really well exposed. So if they think it's on a really good handicap mark, then why not shove it in a handicap as opposed to bring it the Albert Bartlett? Because on bare ratings it's got about £20 to make up. So yeah, I'm curious about that one. So I've put it in Butcher Hollow 66. Then we're going Gold Cup. Gallopin Des Champs, the obvious favourite. When you look through the ones below, I'm just not keen on them. And in terms of Brave Man's Game, because people will think it's not going to win because it got beat last year, it's an artificially higher price. It should be a single figure price. It runs, it's a bit like a protectorate. It'll give its running most of the time. And yeah, just because it got beat last year, the horses that win the Gold Cup in recency haven't always then gone on and won more Gold Cups. So Gallopin Des Champs, although it's got the best form in there, it's an even money favourite, and I think it probably is about the right price, but just not backable for me as a single bet. So Brave Man's Game is definitely the value play, but I also wanted to have the real whacker. It ran brilliantly at Cheltenham last year. I think it's one of those ones that will appreciate the sort of, it could be staying on at the end. So it's not going to be looking dazzling particularly, but if they're coming up the hill and some of them are flagging and it's tough going out there, I can absolutely see the real whacker staying on into 3rd or 4th place. So they're the two, both 75p each ways. And then the Fox Hunters, I literally look through. Very hard race, don't get too involved in it. Shantou Fly, yes, is 14. That is the only thing against that horse. It runs really, really well at Cheltenham. Olive Nichols, Paul Nichols' daughter's on it. But it's got a great Cheltenham record. And take out the fact it's 14, it's a really good price. So Shantou Fly 33 to 1, the only single interest in that one. All right, and then we go to the Mare's Chase, which I wasn't expecting to get too excited about, and I'm not brilliantly excited, but what I would say is I found better stuff than I thought I would do. I'm happy to take on Dino Blue, because I'm not convinced completely that from a distance point of view it's going to suit. I think Limerick Lace is a bit short in the betting, and I think Algera Devassi, I never say it right, that one, at 4 to 1, I think it's a good bet. It ran well enough in the race last year. Yes, it's not run consistently, but I think that the horse will have been laid out for a nice enough run in there. And if Dino Blue doesn't appreciate the distance, I think Algera Devassi is the best horse in the race. And then we're going to go Riviere de Tel, who was running a nice enough race and fell in this last year. And it's overlooked probably because it looks like an unlikely winner on paper, but from a place point of view, for 3 places, 16 to 1, I think it's worth taking. So Riviere de Tel's in, and then the Martin Pipe, I got it down to 3 that I was happy with. So I wanted to keep Elliot's horses on side. Elliot does particularly well in the Martin Pipe in terms of he chucks a lot of darts at it, but there's always a couple that seem to end up framing. So we're going to go Yates Star. There's some interesting form lines for horses that have run this week already. So yeah, of the kind of the Elliott horses, that was in. My number one pick is actually the other one, What's Up Darling. I've just edged that one, although a couple of points shorter in there from a betting point of view. That is slightly my number one pick. So they're 2 Elliott horses. And then I'm going to go Skelton's for JJ Riley. Had it on when it won the Lanzarote. It's up, £7 for that. It didn't run so well last time. Tristan Durrell's back on the horse, who won it on the won the Lanzarote on it. So he'll take, well, no, he won't take off the money, the pounds, but I'd imagine that this has been a bit of a plan for this one when it won the Lanzarote, that actually take it to the Martin Pipe and Tristan to ride it. So that is in. So they're all my singles. So nice and easy. Alga Ridavasi is the only win bet. The others are all 75p each way this for Friday. Here's the Friday ACCA. We're going 130. I've put Stormheart in there, so I've gone different horse. 210 Favois, 250 we put Dancing City in for this. 330 Galloping de Champs, 410 Ferns Lock, and 450 Alga Ridavasi. So there's 4 in there that aren't in single bets or in any other combination bets. So it's a bit of a different look to it, and it's 40p sixfold each way sixfold. Because of the way the other bets have worked out, so 40p each way sixfold. First 2 days had 5 combos. Thursday had 6. Friday just got 4 combination bets. So that was one. Bet 2. This is one of the big ones. So here's the combo bet between the County and the Martin Pipe. So all the 7 selections that I've mentioned in the singles. So that's Bialstock, Petit Tonnerre, Favois, Hansard in the County, going on to Yates Star, What's Up Darling, and JJ Riley in the Martin Pipe. They're all in singles, all in the combination doubles. 12 times 25p each way doubles. You put them all in the bet slip, it'll come up like that. £6 is what that outlay is on that each way combination bet. We're trying to see if we could hook ourselves a couple of winners miraculously. And then the other 2 combo bets are here. So first time this week, I'm putting out a Canadian. I've been doing Yankees, but I've gone with a Canadian for Friday. So that is 5 horses, 26 bets. So 10p each way. Canadians £5.20. So 210 Bialstock, 250 High Class Hero, 330 Brave Man's Game, 450 Algari Devassi, 530 What's Up Darling. That's the Canadian. And then we've got a little each way Trixie as well for the last bet. 210 Petit Tonnerre, 450 Riviere d'Etel, and 530 Yates Star. 25p each way Trixie. £2 is the total. That concludes Cheltenham Day 4 staking plan. So you make your choices about what you want to do. I'm now going to go through the bonus bet. So if you're not here for that and you just want Cheltenham, enjoy your day. Have a nice time. Go catch the bus, whatever you need to do, and might see you next year. Those regular followers on the channel, if you're interested in the bonus bet, here's the bonus bet. So this is the one bonus bet. So I didn't do anything extra. Nothing on Tuesday, nothing on Thursday. One selection on Wednesday, but yeah, there's a few bits on Friday. So I've made it up, and I was mindful as well about doing bonus bets when we're putting out like 40 quid on to Cheltenham, but you make your choices. This is going in the name of the channel. So £8. I didn't write the total on there, but it's £8 in total. So first leg, 110 Fakenham, flat cap special Cecilia, 50-1. Nobody will look at the race. Nobody will care about that horse. I think that horse is very, very overpriced. I don't necessarily think it's going to get touched in the betting. It might do, it might cause a sudden plunge because nobody else has been looking at that race, and then suddenly everybody's back in a 50-1 shot in the 110 at Fakenham. What do I think about that race? So there's 2 horses at the top of the market that for a race of that nature are actually quite exposed, so that it looks fairly clear what kind of a mark that they're going to run, what they're running on, and one of them's running handicaps. So you've got a couple there running around the 100 to 105 mark. That at best, that's what they look like. You then go down third favourite. At the time of making this video, you've got a Skelton horse on Jump's debut. So it's run on the flat, but making Jump's debut. Nice profile on the flat. Could convert. But when you've got these horses never on the jumps, you don't quite know how they're going to go first time out. Outside of those three, there's a lot of chaff in that race. I mean, it's a super low quality race when you're saying that the two favourites, best mark is 105. There's not a lot in that. So what I've done is I've got down to Cecilia, and what you've got in Cecilia is you've got it trained by Matt Crawley, who's hasn't got a lot of horses, has more success on the flat or weather than anything else. Hardly run a horse over jumps, so that's not under ticking a box for most people. Helpfully as well, if you go to main publications, I've checked Racing Post and Sporting Life, they slate the horse, so that's really helpful because most people therefore are going to go walk past it. And you look at it and you go, well, it looked like pretty much a donkey on the flat. And then last time out, it was 400 to 1 on Jump's debut, and finished 31 lengths behind. Those are all the things that most people will see. So what do I think about the horse? I think the race last time was actually pretty good. Like it was way above where it should have been running in terms of 5th of 11, right? So it was ahead of 6 horses. Only 4 horses finished ahead of it. One of them is a horse that's gone on to the one that won has gone on to running graded races, right? So to be 31 lengths behind a horse that then gone to run well in a graded race, that's not actually terrible, is it? One of the horses, I can't remember if it actually the horse was second. I think it even might still be declared for the Triumph. I'm having a bit of a memory on that one. So it's got beaten by a couple of decent horses. So it was given a mark of 85 in terms of RPR, like Racing Post rating, which I think was fair enough. But it's because it's 4-year-old, it's got it's like £10 allowance compared to the top two. So if it's got an RPR right of 85 and the top ones are 105, it's got £10 to make up. Often a horse will make up easy that after its first run of jumps. Because it's learnt a lot, and if you watch that Cecilia, it didn't jump brilliantly well and still finished like 5th. So yeah, in a horse full of donkeys, this might be one of the better donkeys to get in the frame. Is what I'm saying. So yeah, when if I was pricing the race up, I'd have it about 11s, 12s. That's where I had it. So 50s is a great price. It might be the donkiest of donkeys, who knows? But I think it's worth betting. So Cecilia, 50 to 1. Then we're going into Newcastle, 210, so it's 610, that is Newcastle 610. Fine Wine needs to step up on what it's done at Southwell last couple of runs, but has potential to really bounce back, and it ran some brilliant races last year. It's one of those ones, though, it needs to go off on the front end. And so from a jockey point of view, to just try and get the margins right on it, different jock on it tonight. Tonight. It's Sam James. I think it might be Sam James. And yeah, you want to get the fractions right at the front. That's the watch out of this horse. If you get it right, this horse could easily win that race by a decent margin for a 5 furlong sprint. Likewise, it can get it just a little bit wrong and get swallowed up. So it definitely got from a good price point of view, it's a good price. Fine Wine 16s. And then I'm going for a couple at Dundalk. So my beloved Dundalk 650, relevant range. Interestingly, that has got an entry because most people won't have noticed or care if you're watching the Cheltenham videos, but there's a really interesting looking flat race meeting on Monday at the Curragh. So flat racing in the UK doesn't get started until weekend after next, but on Monday there's a meeting at the Curragh. It's the Irish Lincolnshire meeting, and Relevant Range has got an entry there, so I'm hoping it runs at Dundalk. But it's one of those ones where it was run over the wrong distance last time, and it's dropped it back down to a mile, and a mile is what it wants. And it's just whether or not today's the day it's going. That is what I would say. And then 8:20 Clarion Bridge. that horse has run nicely for its new trainer after getting claimed. So the last 2 races, I think was it fourth or fifth, something like that, both times. And if it's in the same vein of form, there's no reason why it shouldn't get top 4 again. And it's got potential to kick on a little bit. So I think its previous trainer, it wasn't in the best of form, whereas originally was it trained by McGuinness originally. Moved to Noel Kelly, I think it was, and now with is it Leanne Breen, maybe. I think, I'll be honest, I've seen so many horses and so many names in tonight. It's all gone a bit of a blur. So I hope I described that correctly. But basically, I think it's on the right distance in terms of performances. So they're in 20p each way Yankee. We've got 50p each way. I haven't written singles. Callum, that's great, isn't it? 250p each way singles on those 2, and a 30p each way double. So that's singles and doubles on Cecilia and Fine Wine. And then 250p win singles on Relevant Range and Clarin Bridge. £8. So 440. That's £2 for the singles, 60p for the double, £2, so £1 for those ones. So that takes the thing up to £8. That is that. All right. Thank you very much, folks, for joining me this Cheltenham. It's sort of going like that. Maybe let's hope we're on the right trajectory. Bad first day, not great second day. Potential to have been a good day on day 3. But didn't quite have enough in the accumulators. So if we can keep the trajectory going, that'll be delightful. If we can get a win, I'll take a win on the last day. That would be ace. But that's where we are. All right. So thank you very much for joining me along the ride for the last 4 days. Anyone who's liked and commented, there's plenty of new folks stopping by, naysayers. When the results are bad, it's very easy for someone else to come along and challenge you to a 6-month, tipster competition where they'll wipe the floor with me. If somebody's making money like betting, I don't know why they've got the time to come on YouTube and make challenges. Also, I might make some slight suggestion that the majority of people that do well in horses and make money probably don't have a massive ego and probably just quietly go around their business. So anyway, thank you very much for everyone who's liked my videos this week, subscribed to the channel. We've got lots of extra subscribers. Who knows how many of them will stay on after Cheltenham. So thank you very much if you've made the choice to subscribe to the channel and get my little red dot every time I put a video out. At least Thursday we had a fun day. It was not fun Monday at all. There wasn't much to cheer about Tuesday apart from a winner. So at least on Thursday we had 4 winners in total to cheer. 3 of them counted for cash. So a bit more to go at. So let's hope we have a repeat on Friday. Thank you very, very much. I will be back for regular viewers. Not sure at this point whether it be Friday night or Saturday morning with some Saturday selections. I probably won't be doing much on Saturday, but I have an interest. I'll be focused on the Utoxeter meeting. It's Midlands Grand National, and they've got a decent prized handicap hurdle. I think we should have a good field. So yeah, there'll be a bit of an interest on Saturday, and then I'll go through the tips the league result from last week because I haven't done that this week because I was focused on Cheltenham. And then we'll do the tips the league for the penultimate weekend before I head for my break. All right. Been a pleasure most of the time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.